What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. I'm your guys' host, Zach SchuZ Schumaker. I hope you guys are having an incredible Tuesday so far. But with that being said, I've got a very special guest for me to kick off today's show. He's a man that's coming off of a big win just a couple weeks ago. He's now moving his record up to 16-0 with 1 draw and 14 KOs. He's ranked the WBC number 2, WBA number 3, IBF number 4, and the WBO number 15 ranked welterweight contender in all the world. He also goes by the nickname El Cugre. That is Raul Curiel. Raul, appreciate you for taking time to come on today, man.
Hey brother, how you doing? Thank you for the opportunity, man. Thank you for the time, and glad to be here, bro.
Absolutely, man. Well, there's no other way we could possibly start this interview off other than discussing your most recent fight. Absolutely incredible performance by yourself. You go out there, you get the 4th round KO. Dominant
hmm
performance, very entertaining fight as well, I have to add. When you now have been able to reflect on that fight, what goes through your minds with your thoughts on the performance?
Well, bro, is obviously this fight opened me a lot of doors in my
Mm,
career. Helped me a lot with the rankings too. He was
right.
undefeated, tough Argentina. The South American fighter. Yeah, they know for that, and I know he was coming like very strong. But very happy, man. I need that same, and to ask for the opportunity for the world title. But
Right.
right now that fight helped me a lot. Now more people know me, and that's what I say. With that statement, they helped me a lot, and probably we're gonna fight for the world title very very soon.
All right. Well, I want to dive into that fight a little bit more. One aspect of that, obviously being on the Jake Paul Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. undercard, that is a
Yeah,
massive platform for a lot of guys. And being in the boxing world, I've always said this: you can have your thoughts about Jake Paul and the whole situation there, whatever you want to say, but he provides a massive opportunity for so many guys. And every time he fights, the undercards are always really good. And I've known you for the past couple of years. I've loved watching your fight. But for a
yeah.
lot of people, this was the first time they got to see you. And I think they all walked away very entertained by yourself. Can you
Mhm.
walk us through that aspect? What is it like part of a Jake Paul undercard, and how much does that help you in terms of your brand?
No, a lot, man. Since the first day, you can see all the production.
Mm,
Uh, he do a great job in boxing. He help in boxing right now. He started getting more followers for us, and
mm,
all the show, all the production over there. Everyone is very kind. I got the opportunity to say hi to Jake
right.
because I know him and Logan. Uh,
Mhm.
in the past, I helped Logan do sparring for Mayweather,
Okay.
and so I know them. And but yeah, he helped in boxing a lot and fighting. The zone platform in this big stadium. It's one of
Mm,
my you know most important appearance, and it was a statement. Everyone was happy with that, and even that I talked to Gilberto Mendoza, after the fight, and we were looking forward for the world title, for the world opportunity, WBA. I think Rolly Romero have the regular title,
right.
and that's the opportunity that I wanted, and every time that I got one, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna try to put on the show like always, and keep building my boxing fan base, and let me know in the sport of boxing.
All right. Well, I want to follow up on what you kind of talked about, and that is, you are top ranked in the top 5 of 3 different conditioning bodies. One of them has you at 15, that being the WBO, but the other
Mhm.
ones all are opportunities where you're right there, ready to fight for a world championship. But you did just say a moment ago, WBA seems to be the one you're almost kind of lining yourself up for. Obviously, Rolly Romero is the WBA regular right now. There's not an official
Yes.
world champion with boots moving on.
Uh-huh.
Is that the one you're pursuing? Is that all the belts that you have discussions with? Is WBA the one that you seem to be kind of lining yourself up for?
Right now, and my best position right now in the rankings is the WBC.
Right.
But we're just waiting. I don't know. Probably I just need to wait the winner from Barres and Pacquiao and try to
Mhm.
do a good deal. But yeah, I think, and I feel this is gonna be my first opportunity fighting for the WBA. But I don't know. I don't know. I'll be ready for every opportunity that they give me, and I'm waiting
Right.
for the call. I'm waiting for the call. One of my, no, not mine. All the boxers wants to be world champions, man. And
Mhm.
now know that I have the opportunity. I'm so close, you know, to to get my dream come true. You
Right.
know, any opportunity that I have, I'm gonna take it, even WBC or whatever organization is.
All right.
Yeah,
The welterweight division right now, it just in a way it's kind of chaotic and crazy. And obviously, like you said, obviously Boots Ennis, he kind of was that guy for the past couple of years. He's now up at
yeah,
154. And so that opens up just on paper, two of the belts obviously are now available. We know obviously Patty Donovan, Lewis Crocker's fighting for one of them. The other one, we don't necessarily know what's happening. And then we have fights like Manny Pacquiao going down now this weekend. So I want to
yeah.
ask you your thoughts actually on a couple of different things because one of which Pac-Man's returning this weekend, fighting Mario Barrios.
Uh,
What's your thoughts on that fight first and foremost?
It's gonna be a good fight, man.
Okay.
I saw Manny train, and he's still the same discipline, bro. The same
Mm,
energy. You know, he's very motivated, and he wants to fight. And I know Mario is a warrior. You know, that's the reason he's a world champion right now.
right.
But you know, for me personally, they have the opportunity to fight a legend like Manny Pacquiao in the future, or even that fighting for the world title with Barrios versus Barrios. Uh, all the both of the options for me are good. You know,
Right.
fighting with Barrios with the title or fighting with a legend like Manny Pacquiao. And I I think I'm close, you know, to have
Mm.
that kind of opportunities in my career. But we'll see. I'm gonna keep doing my work and stay very focused in my goal, you know, to be world champion by the end of the day.
Curious, who do you have winning that fight between Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios? Who do you have winning it?
Ooh, I think Mario have the, you know, he's very young, more young than
Yeah.
Pacquiao. You know, he fought Ugas, who beat
Mm.
Pacquiao in the past. No, he always put on the show. He's a warrior. I know it's gonna be a good fight, and we'll see Manny Pacquiao. You know, he's a special man. Um he's still training like always. Like
Right.
yeah, when he was in prime. And you know, for me right now it's a 50-50. Yeah.
Mm.
Because Manny is focused. He's
All
training
right.
very hard. I saw him. And for Mario is a warrior. It's gonna be a good fight. Very entertaining fight.
All
Yeah,
right.
but we'll see. You know, we need to wait and probably gonna face one of those in the future. So I'll be watching the fight.
All right. The other one that's been announced now, Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney. Obviously, Norman's one of the other fellow champions. Who do you think is going to win that fight?
That's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a um Norman is very strong right now.
Yeah.
He's very strong. And welterweight division is tough.
Yep.
So for Devin it's gonna be hard. That fight is gonna be hard. But we'll see. He's very intelligent. He have a lot of IQ. I know him. I spar him, and yeah, he's very talented. He's a good fighter. But
Right.
Norman Jr. is one of the top dogs of the division. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's gonna be a good fight. But if I can say, it's a 50-50 too. You
All
know,
right.
because we know Devin Haney from super lightweight, but in
Hmm.
the welterweight, it's a very different story.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be entertaining fight. You know, I got Norma
Okay.
because the way he's the champion right now. It's a tough champ, but it's gonna be a good fight. I hope they both stay in the middle and fight. It's gonna be entertaining fight.
Do you think that's going to happen? Because I think honestly, and I know a lot of people give Devin Haney a lot of slack for it, and I get why. But Devin Haney is very technically sound. He's overall really good defensive fighter. Brian
Yeah,
Norman is not the kind of guy you probably wanted to be exchanging shots with out there. I know you probably would have that game plan a little bit more so, but Devin Haney changing shots with Brian Norman is probably not the best idea in my opinion.
nah.
But do you think Devin Haney will have that game plan? Or do you think that it could be at the end of the day, Devin Haney would do what a lot of people don't like him doing by quote unquote running around?
Yeah, he's a very intelligent fighter. You know, he do always a good plan for every fight.
Yeah.
But you know, the welter, like I say, it's a very different story, and
Yeah.
we'll see how it looks in the new division with a tough fighter like Norman. I think it's gonna be a good fight,
Yeah.
as and we'll see. Uh, you know, you can see Shakur this weekend with Cepeda. He stay, and everybody
Yep.
expect like he was gonna run the whole fight. Oh, we'll see what's going on. We'll see, but I think it's gonna be a good, very good fight. Top fight for Devin, but a good fight.
I know the way I've watched you fight, you're not a guy that's ever going to run around. You are a guy that's one of the most entertaining fighters, in my opinion, to go out there and watch every single time you put on an absolute show. And so I have to ask, talking to a man that I would call a warrior in that ring, what's your thoughts on overall, like you said, Shakur Stevenson did his job this weekend. I think he does it a little bit different than
Yeah.
truly running around. But if we look at a guy like William School, I feel like that's more the definition of kind of running around with what he did against Canelo. You can make a debate
Mhm.
about that for Devin Haney in different times as well. When you see those type of fighters, what's your thoughts on them?
Well, boxing is because of styles. So
Right.
everybody he can they can have their own style. But
Right.
I never liked Mayweather. Well,
Mhm.
sometimes I love Mayweather is one of my idols, but the last fights he run a lot, and the criticisms is tough for them. I think Devin, like I say, is a very IQ fighter, but
Right.
sometimes he runs a little,
Yeah.
so he needs to put on the show.
Okay.
His last fight, I think, is not the best performance, but boxing is styles, man. And
Mhm.
for me, I like to be like a brawler, stay in the middle, but I have a 2, 3 fights that I fought like a boxing type fighters,
Mhm.
and as a fighter too, you don't like him, but well, it's a styles.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to ask about your style because, as I said, it is one of the most entertaining overall
Mhm.
fighters to watch. I love watching you fight every time you get in that
Thank you.
ring. Is that something that has always been a part of you, just who you are naturally? Did it take time to grow
Mm,
into that? What gave you the mentality to
Yeah.
say, you know what, I'm going to stand in the middle. I'm going to exchange. I'm going to go brawl with the man. Whoever I'm sitting in that ring with, I'm going to go to
Mhm.
war.
I have confidence because I train very hard. I always sacrifice a lot every camp. I sacrifice
Mhm.
a lot. But that's my secret. I feel very prepared. I always trying to be in 100%, taking care a lot of me, and the camp. So is that my self confidence in my training, you know? So
Right.
I have the capacity to stay there, stay in the pocket and working of it. But I think that's myself, since I was Olympian.
Mhm.
Uh, I do a lot of fights as amateur. I represent Mexico in a lot of tournaments, but I never like it, the Olympics type. Sometimes I lose fights just because the other fighter is just like doing points or running.
Right.
But I like my style, and I think I got a lot, experience. All my fights, I fought in the WSB, World Series of Boxing
Yeah.
uh, before Trump Pro. So I got a little bit experience. I fought a lot of styles in my career, and I think that's one of my keys. The experience that I have, and I'll be involved in very tough fights, and you know, I keep winning. But yeah. I like more to be a brawler. The Mexican stuff. They always
Right.
say that. And I know the people like my style, so I always try to, be very prepared and every fight, to can put on the show.
You talk about being able to balance that, and that is something about you. We there's a lot of guys that you will consider great fighters over that are very entertaining, but they do lack that overall amateur pedigree. They lack that ability to start, go out there and box, and sometimes it hurts a lot of guys. They don't become world
Hmm.
champions. You, on
Yeah.
the other hand, like you said, you have been an Olympian. You had one heck of an amateur career. Just to give some stats out there: gold at the
Yeah.
2012 ABA World Championships, 2013 Olympic Cup Championships, the Washington D.C. your 2013 Golden Gloves Tournament, Olympics in
Hmm.
2016. You know how to truly box the amateur style as well, which is truly natural boxing. When
Yeah.
you talk about being able to balance, the skill sets of boxing as well as going out there and still being able to perform at a high level and go out there and brawl, how do you balance those two aspects?
Well, that's what I say. I'm very involved in a lot of top fights in my career, and I know like he that helped me a lot. To know a lot of styles. Fighting around the world. I find even
Right.
in China, there's have a lot of style over there. The European stuff, South American style, and I try to learn a lot. And when I become pro. Uh, Obviously, it's a very different world. The punches is more harder, very different type of training. But by the end of the day, I learned a lot, and I think is one of the reasons that I'm in this position right now. That I'm be involved in boxing my whole life. So since
Hmm.
I started at 6, so uh, I think I have the skills and the experience, to fight in the big fights and beat the top opponents of the division. But I think with time, eventually the people will see me and all my potential, and I think I win. I can and I want to be a legend in Mexico. I try to
Mm.
build my legacy, and I think I'm doing good right now.
Right.
But I think the future is very bright for me.
100% agree. You talk about being a legend in Mexico, and there's different
Yeah.
styles. And that's what I think about. I love about boxing is that you could travel to any portion of the world. They have boxing there, but every country has different styles. Some of them are
Yeah.
similar. I think the Mexico style, Japanese style, they're very similar. There's a lot of similarities between the two of them. But then you
Hmm.
come to America. There's not a lot of guys that like to go out there and brawl in America. There still are some, but the majority of them are much more technique based. You go to the
Yes.
UK, very similar story, so on and so forth. When you talk about being able to represent Mexico, you have that
Hmm.
flag you got to represent. You represent your
Yeah.
people. What does that mean to you?
Right now, I'm living the dream for me
Mm,
because I always, like I say, I start very young in this
right.
sport of boxing, and now I can do all the things that I saw in the TV. And I
Hmm.
remember growing up here that I always told my dad and my mom that one day I'll be there, training
Right.
with these very important trainers like Freddie Roche, like Robert Garcia,
Right.
and now be in this position, be like I say, living the dream, and now carry my flag, all my people over here, uh, all the Latinos, the Mexican people. Um, Very happy, man. Very happy. It's a dream come true to be in this position right now, and now start fighting in the top uh, show or fights in the world. And I always believe that eventually, uh, in a point of my career, I will, start living all of this,
Mm,
and it's just a little step, to
right.
close this dream to be world champion. But right now, everyone here are very happy, and I'm happy to be here too. More people start to know you more,
Right.
and they feel very happy for me, man. They know everybody knows over here knows me since I was a kid.
Mm.
So right now, saw me in this level, everyone are happy.
Absolutely, man. Well, we obviously got a little bit off track where I was going at before, but I want to hop back to where we were a little bit ago, and I was talking about a couple of different matches going on in boxing right now. The last one
Yeah.
I had to pick your mind on. There's going to be a rematch between Crocker and Donovan. That's going to be for another world championship. When you
Mhm.
look at that fight, who do you have winning the rematch?
I didn't saw the fight. That's the
You
first
didn't.
fight, but for some coming days, they come a lot of good fights, man. That Manny fights is coming too. That's a good fight. Bam Rodriguez is gonna fight too.
Right.
But I'm gonna check the fight. I'm gonna check
Okay.
the fight, and then I text you and tell you.
All right. Sounds good, man.
Yeah, bro.
Well, the reason I wanted to ask about all the different things is to kind of go back to where we were discussing. You are
Uh,
number 2 in the WBC, number 3 WBA, 4
yeah,
IBF. WBO for some reason has you at 15. That's is what it is. When we look at that, there's a lot of fights going down right now with a lot of opportunities. When
yeah.
you look at each opportunity right now, when do you think you'll possibly have a world championship shot? When do you think that's going to come to fruition for yourself?
Well, I'm just waiting for the negotiations.
Right,
Uh, this is sport. It's a business too.
right.
But I hope this
Okay.
year can have my opportunity, man.
All
The
right.
chance, to fight the world title, even Rolly, even Barrios, Pacquiao, or whoever. You know, uh, I'm gonna try to be ready, and I hope by the end of the year have something. But I hope become the opportunity for world title. But we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Right now, I'm trying to be, enjoy a little bit over here, but waiting for the call always, to get back to the gym.
All right. There was information that came out today. It said that if Manny Pacquiao were to come away with the Mario Barrios win, there are plans and rumors that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao could have a match. Both of them are. That's obviously interesting to say the least. I'll leave that there for now. But
Yeah,
when you see something like that, I'm not sure if you've seen that information come out yet. But what's your thoughts on that?
that's a good fight, man. Uh, I just saw a couple rounds of the Pacquiao Mayweather because I got idea what was going on. Floyd is gonna be, boxing, and he had a lot of abilities and everything, and Manny just looking forward for a fight. But it's a good business for them,
Yeah.
and but we'll see what's going on. I think Manny is gonna put on the show, man. I saw him training, and
Okay.
he still got it, man. He's special.
Mm.
I hope one day, face him, fight him.
All right. You're looking at a man who Mayweather would be 48 years old. That could possibly be 49 years old, depending on when that fight happens. Manny's
Yeah.
47 years old. This
We
is an anomaly. If Manny wins this weekend, he'd be the oldest welterweight to be a welterweight champion in boxing history. What's your thoughts on having a potential 47 to 48-year-old fight a potential 48 or 49-year-old in the ring? Is that weird, or what's your thoughts on that?
well, I think Manny Pacquiao, he's always danger.
Right.
But if I have the opportunity, I'm gonna take it. Just because I want to fight a legend.
Mm,
But we'll see what's going on. We'll see what's
right.
going on, and if I got the opportunity, I hope to fight WBC two versus Manny Pacquiao or
Okay.
Barrios. But
Right.
it was a good point. But we'll see what's going on.
All right. Well, I want to throw another option out there for you. There has been rumors that we know that with the WBA route, Giasov, he's a man that obviously has put himself in
Mhm.
position, would have been
Yeah,
the mandatory to draw on Boots Ennis if Boots Ennis stayed around. Obviously, Boots is not there, so now he's kind of just sitting there waiting for the next opportunity. That could be a title eliminator or even interim championship for you guys, the WBA.
could be.
Is that a fight that you're looking at?
Yeah, just looking for good fights and tough
Right.
fights, and I want to fight the best of the division. I
Hmm.
want to be one of the best, not just in Mexico, BLA and internationally, and fight it with just the best fighters around. And
Okay.
we'll see eventually if I have the opportunity or I need to do another fight. I'll be ready. Ready to fight the best of the division.
All right. Let's say every single person at 147 was available for yourself. No fights are booked. Everything's available. Who would be the 3 fights that you'd want to make happen right now?
Well, because I got this title animator. I think the number one is Rolly.
Right.
Number two, Barriers or Pacquiao. Depends who wins.
Right.
Uh, and the number three, I don't know. Probably looking forward the rematch with Rocha, but we'll
Wow.
see what's going on. I just want to take good fights and make good statements and build my name in the sport of boxing.
All right. So if I were to ask you now, a year and a half from today, that would put us
Mhm.
heading into 2027. Where do you see yourself at that point in time when it comes to accomplishments, whether you're world champion or not, whatever it could be, record, whatever it is? Where do you see yourself heading into the year 2027?
Oh, what a good question. World champion for
Okay.
sure. I want to be a world champion and defend the title.
Mm.
Because Mexico, I don't know who was the last champion we had. I think Margarito
At
in welter.
147 or just over welterweight? That might be the case. Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, so we need a champion in the welterweight. You know, there's a lot of good fighters in Mexico. Pipino Cuevas was the WBA welterweight. Uh, but yeah, we don't have too much welterweights in the history. So
Right.
I want to be there. Yeah,
All right, so I do have to ask you the follow-up question to that then. You become world champion. You
yeah.
break a long drought of not being a world champion that's from Mexico at welterweight. What would that mean?
Whoa, no, no, no. Um, I think I already make history in amateur boxing.
Right.
But I want to be in the books, of the best champions in Mexico. I want to be a legend too. Uh, I'll be involved in boxing my whole life. So, see myself, like a champion and a recognized champ. Um, is, my goal, my dream.
Right.
So I'm taking little steps, but every day I'm closer for my goal.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
sir.
just to I just looked it up. Margarita was the last one that was Mexican born. It does include Barrios being the last one because of him being Mexican ties, but Mexican born is Margarita.
Oh well, like I like he represent his origins, Mexican,
Right.
but he's from Texas. He born in
Yeah.
the
San
U.S.
Antonio. Yep.
But I feel very very happy. He always put on the show and represent Mexico. But yeah, I think Margarito was the Mexican born and raised here
Yep.
to be champions. But you know, it's possible. It's possible. I'm close for
Hmm.
the, you know, you know, have the chance to fight the world title.
Right.
And when I have the opportunity, I'm gonna take it, and I'm sure I'm gonna win.
I love it. Well, I want to get into your story, Raul, because you obviously have a great journey to get to the point you're at today. And so
Mm,
we head back. We just got done talking about it. You've grown up in Mexico. That's where you're born and raised. When
mm.
did boxing become something that you wanted to pursue, though? Has this always been what you wanted? Did it come later on in life? Or when did you really start to pursue boxing?
Yeah, I think one of the first reasons because all my family fought.
Okay.
My granddad, my dad, my older brother. I'm the youngest of the family, but all of them then they only fight in Mexico.
Hmm.
And I was the first one that I started fighting like internationally and representing Mexico. But I think it's from family.
Okay.
I saw my dad and my older brother fighting. Uh, I saw them fights, and I love boxing since day one. And
Hmm.
you know, look at me right now; it become my job
Right.
and it's my passion, bro. And I think the best it could happen to you is, work what you love, so you
Hmm.
don't have to work. So it's my
Hmm.
passion. I'll be put a lot of work in my career, my whole life. Everyone knows me as Raul, the fighter, the boxer.
Right.
So boxing represents everything, everything of Raul Curiel, and I'm very blessed to have the talent and I'm really thankful and grateful with boxing because boxing gave me everything. And to be close, to be world champion, and you know, is the culmination of all of my life,
Hmm.
all that I want in my life, be world champion. But yeah, all my family put something in my career. My dad started. He was my first train. My mom helped me. with the food, like a nutritionist.
Right.
My older brother helped me in the sparring. Uh, right now, my wife, she always, support me every time that I go to camp, and we make a good team. You
Okay.
can do the things by yourselves. You need help always,
Hmm.
and I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to be in the position and have the family that I have, and now they have my whole country, by my side, supporting me. Uh, you know, be world champion for me. Uh, man, I've been sacrificed a lot. So I'm closer right now, and I know I'm gonna be world champion.
Mm.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm starting very young, but now I'm here, and is I'm the position that I always want to be.
When did it start to click and become a realization for yourself that you have a chance at becoming the type of fighter that you are today? Obviously, a top contender, a guy that's going to be fighting for world championship in the future. When did this start to become a reality for yourself and you knew you could accomplish these things?
Um, I think since my first fight as pro,
Really? Okay.
because I make my debut in Vegas. No, any fighter can fight in Vegas. His first fight,
Hmm.
and I fought in the Canelo fight in the T-Mobile Arena, and in that day, I realized that I have the potential, the talent to be in the most important places in the world of boxing.
Hmm.
And I think since my first fight, I always have a top fight, but I always have confidence in myself and my skills, and I always try to put on the work in the gym and show up very good, like in very good physique, and but yeah, I think my first fight, and when well, I think when I since I represent Mexico in the Olympics, I know that
Okay.
I can do great things in boxing.
Right.
But boxing is tough, and
Yep.
you need to be working hard every day to be here. Sometimes I don't believe that I'm here, but it's all because the hard work that I put.
Hmm. When you brought the Olympic parks, and that was almost what I thought your answer was going to be there. And so I have to dive into that right there because you get to represent your entire country on the biggest international stage you could ever do it on, the Olympics.
Yeah.
Nothing that's the pinnacle for any athlete. You want to be able to
Yes,
participate in the
sir.
Olympics. And you did that. You accomplished being an Olympian in the 2016 Olympics. You have to say that experience. What was that entire process like?
Ooh, it's 4 years of process.
Mm,
Be fighting in different countries. Try to get the ticket for the Olympic. And I remember that I got the the chance, and I got the place in the 64 kilos in China. I won my right to go to the Olympics.
mm-hmm,
And before that, I went a lot of world championships. I represent Mexican Pan American games, and mm, I'm very grateful for everything that I did in the Olympics. Uh, After that, you know what happened to me in the Olympics, that I get a food potion, and I
mm-hmm,
and I couldn't. And after that, I want to retire, because that was my only dream in the sport, represent my country in the
right.
Olympics. But I don't know what could happen. I knew that I possibly can win a medal,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. After that, I never thought to become pro.
Okay.
So things happen, and now the life put me in the position to become pro, probably because of that. And I'm very, happy, because when I couldn't, fight in the Olympics, I very depressed. I thought in the retire, but well, they called me. Golden Boy called me. Now my manager Frank Espinosa called me. They believe in me, and I try to always working hard, and
Mm.
I'm very grateful for that. But it was a good journey for me. I live a lot of things in boxing, but definitely for me right now, I'm living the dream.
All right, I have to ask about that portion. I did not know that you were almost considering retiring after the Olympic portion. I knew you had a lot of stuff and issues with the Olympics, but
Yeah,
we're talking about one of the top contenders in the welterweight division right now, possibly never even being in this position because you were considering retiring at that point.
yeah.
If I knew you going all the way back to 2016, and I would have said, "Hey, Raul, you're going to be a man that's a top contender in the world one day," how would you have responded to that question?
I never imagine. I never could imagine. I
Mm,
never could imagine because I have my own confidence,
right.
but sometimes the doubt, sometimes the fear, then don't let you think that your dreams can become true.
Hmm.
But if you work hard, if you very disciplined, you can make it. You can make it, but you need to sacrifice a lot and work very, very hard.
Right.
And for your question, I don't know. For my mindset in that time, I could never believe it.
Mm.
Yeah, but
All right.
well, I'm here, and uh, I try to be focused in the present and take care of myself. Like I
Right.
say, I'm very close for got my dream come true, and I'm gonna keep working until I you know become world champion and you know get that or get my dream back. To have the Olympic medal now. To be world champ.
All right. You go by the nickname the Cougar. How'd you get that nickname? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, because I'm Raul Curiel Garcia.
Okay.
So when I have Facebook, my older brother start with this too, and I just put together my middle and my second name,
Okay.
Curiel Garcia. But when I fought in the WSB, they broadcast here in Mexico,
Hmm.
and that was a guy from the radio star call me Cougar because it's like a little J word,
Hmm.
very aggressive and kind of my style. And he started, oh, he like the Jaguars. He started to call me like that. He's a very aggressive fighter, so they start calling me Cougar. So I take it, and I'm still have it.
All
But
right.
the truth is my middle name, my second name, my
Got
mom's name, my dad's name, and my mom's like Uriel Garcia, and I put together.
All
So
right.
I represent my family in that way.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
So you made a transition earlier this year, even going back to your most recent training camp. You start off with Freddie Roach, you then
Mhm.
transition over to Robert Garcia.
Yeah.
Why did you make that move?
Uh, like truly because I talk with my team too. I
Okay.
take the decisions, but by the end of the day, you have a team, and I talk with my manager. I talk with my promoter too, and I have a really good relationship with Freddie. Even when I fought, uh, I went to the wild card to say
Okay.
hi to everyone over there because I have to move to Riverside in the middle of the camp, so I could have the opportunity to say goodbye to everyone over there. So I got a good relationship with Freddie, but I think we do an excellent move,
Mm.
going with Robert Garcia. And since day one, the tension, the work, the discipline the coach have, uh, we start to work very, very good. So we asked him, and he told us like, "Hey, whenever you want, you can come and we can work. And Robert Garcia is an excellent trainer.
Hmm.
So this first fight with him, I feel the difference. And even in the sparring, there's a different levels over there. And I feel very good and have the confidence that I'm gonna become world champion with Robert Garcia.
All right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like almost what you're saying is that you and Freddie Roach had great terms. Everything was good. There was more so
Yeah.
just you want to make a transition. You just want to make yourself a
Yes.
little bit of adjustment at this point in your career. Then,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
I make 12 fights with Freddie Roach, like
yeah,
12 and 10 knockouts. So we do a great relationship as a fighter and trainer. But yeah, we want to try something new, and I think we do the best decision. But yeah, yeah, I have a good relationship with Freddie. He still send me messages, and he's still you know watching my fights, and we're good, we're good.
all
And with
right,
and with Robert, um, he's always working hard, very disciplined coach, and I think it was a good move for me for my career.
100% agree. All right,
Uh,
when I asked you earlier about the three fights you would probably want to make if everybody was available, the last one you said was Alexis Rocha, and I want to go
mhm.
back into that fight because your record is incredible. Still, you have not lost a fight yet. Your only blemish, if you so-called want to have it, is the Rocha
Yeah,
fight. That's your one draw. Is that a fight that you are still wanting to get back? Do you want that rematch to happen?
of course, of course. I think it was a close fight, but
Definitely.
I think I won the fight,
Hmm.
but it was a draw. He can say the same. Yeah, I think we put on the show. The fans love it, and I think they wanna propose a fight for fight of the year in that time.
Yeah.
So I like the good fights. He can fight. He's a good fighter, and like all the boxers, we want to have a trilogy in your career, in your record. I hope one day we can get the rematch or the second fight.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we'll see what's going on with him. I think he's getting recovered for injury or something.
Okay.
But I hope okay and ready, and we can talk for you know a good business, a good fight.
If you look back at every fight you fought in your career, is the Lexus Rocha fight your favorite fight, or what would you say has been your favorite fight of your career?
I think the Kerovian fight,
Okay.
Ferdinand Kerovian. He
Gotcha.
was a 15-1 and 13 knockouts in that time. A very tough Armenian fighter. Is when I make my 10th fight, and I won the NABF title. But I think he's one of the strongest fighters I never faced, and I was losing the fight. I was losing that fight, and I knocked him out in the ninth round.
Hmm.
But yeah, he put me on test, and I think that's my hard fight. Sometimes I remember that fight, and I know not too many people know the name of Peruvian, but he was a top contender. And
Right.
I have a lot of difficult fights in my career, but that one definitely, I remember always that fight because I won my first title, and he was a tremendous fight, and he was a very good opponent.
Absolutely. Well, Raul, I have one final question for you. It's the question like wrapping up every interview with, talking about your legacy. When you step away from
Yes.
boxing one day, what do you want your legacy to be for what you have accomplished both inside and outside of the ring?
Um, I want to everybody, remember me as a warrior that never talked too much. I always try to talk with the gloves.
Right.
And as a fighter, I want to be a legend. I want to become world champion, be in the history, right now, could this all these years without Mexican welterweight champions and defend my title, with honor and the the many times that I can. And eventually, I think one day uh, I will be in the history books, and I'm gonna become a legend. But
Absolutely.
right now, I try to focus on what I got in front. But yeah, it's one of my dreams, be remembered as a tough Mexican champion.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you for taking time to come on today, man. It's been a blessing and honor having you on the show today, man.
No, thank you very much for the time. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And you guys are our first, promoters. So I
Mhm.
always very grateful for you guys with the media, and I always have time for my friends of the media, man. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Of course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
Thank you. You too, brother. Have a good night.
I appreciate you guys all for tuning into the interview. I'll have it clipped up, edited out, and then posted on my YouTube channel very shortly. I'm going to go on a short break, and then we'll get right back to the show right after that. I'll see you guys shortly. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the SchuZ Show. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal Tuesday so far. Now, let's go make it even better. All right, so let's hop into some boxing news. Now, before I actually get into that portion of the show, any comments, questions, or whatever you guys want me to get into, let's make sure to go put those in the chat, and I'll address that as I go throughout the duration of the show. Some comments I see already in the chat right now. Let's see what we got right now. Adam, you have Brian Norman Jr. winning the Devin Haney fight, but you do want Devin Haney to do well. You know, it's a tricky fight. I've not given my official thoughts, and I've not broken down the fight to its fullest extent at this point yet. I feel like that is a fight that is very, very close right now. It's one of those classic technical fighters versus power fighters, you know, and I'll evaluate that as we get closer to the fight right now. If I were to give my way too early prediction, I would probably... I honestly think it's 250-50 right now. I'm not going to give my thoughts yet because I don't want to be quoted on something at this point in time. Once I dissect the film and I break it down a little bit more in depth as we get closer to that fight, I'll give my thoughts. That's a very potential opportunity right there that Brian Norman is the champion over Devin Haney in that fight. But listen, Devin Haney is very good. I know a lot of people don't like Devin Haney, but I do like what Devin Haney brings to the ring. I think he's very, very technically sound. And a lot of times, the guys that are more technically sound make the fights much more competitive than some people think. Obviously, Brian Norman is phenomenal. He is a spectacular talent. He's one of the most exciting fighters right now to watch coming off the KO of the year at this point in time. But it's going to be a very close fight. Other comment you have right now, smaller rings do come in handy. I think that you should be able to use your legs as long as you're not turning it back to your opponent. Smaller rings come in handy. That is another situation. Listen, I will say this time and time again. There is a big difference between now what Shakur Stevenson did this past weekend obviously was different. But what he's traditionally done the past couple of fights, that is different from the actual running that people look at. Like there's a big difference between what Shakur Stevenson typically does and what we see in the likes of William Skull against Canelo Alvarez. There's a big difference between the two. Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull involved a man and William Skull who wanted to go out there and just he'd last for 12 rounds. He had no desire to use defense. He wasn't blocking punches. Canelo wasn't throwing anything either. But he just did not want to fight. Shakur Stevenson, on the other hand, utilized his defense, his tactics, his IQ, and allowed himself to be in position to go out there and fight in that style. There's a big difference between the two of them. So, yes, if you're just going around there running around like William Skull did, that's unacceptable in boxing. But I do feel like what Shakur Stevenson has always done, for the most part, has been actually technically sound boxing. And if that frustrates people, I'm sorry to tell you, but he's elite for that reason. Let's go into some boxing news, though, now. But if there are any other comments, make sure to go leave them in the chat, and I'll address them as we go throughout the show. All right. Don King has reportedly declined Jake Paul's offer for Noel Mikaelian to step aside. This would have potentially allowed Jake Paul to challenge Badou Jack for a world title. All right. Interesting. We knew that this was a possibility, that Jake Paul getting ranked was going to allow him a shot at world championship. Now, nobody asked for it, but it appears as though we are going to get Badou Jack, Noel Mikaelian in a rematch. Badou Jack did not win that first fight. I thought he did not deserve that fight. I thought Noel Mikaelian won that fight. But due to the uproar by people in the world, they have now ordered the official rematch to make the fight happen again. And I'm not against that. But the problem is that slow down the division a little bit, but it is what it is. However, what really is interesting about this situation, Jake Paul was trying to go pursue a world champion. And I feel like we have to give props to him for that. Jake Paul is a man who just started boxing just so many years ago. And he's already put himself in hypothetical potential situations to fight for a world championship. That in and of itself is impressive. Whether you like the man or not, that would be insane. To go from being an absolute nobody, I should say nobody in the boxing world, having no skill, turning around in about 6-7 years, you're now fighting for a world championship. That would be phenomenal. Now, would he be a Badou Jack? Probably not. However, if you were going to pick any one of the cruiserweights, Badou Jack's going to go after. I want no part of anything to do with Jai Opetaia. That is the best cruiserweight in the world. It's not even comparably close. I would not fight him. And I feel like Jake Paul, the funny thing is that we have kind of seen that come to fruition because Jake Paul wants no part of fighting Jai Opetaia. He has never mentioned him. He's never thrown his name out there. All he wants to go out there to do is he mentioned Zurdo, he mentioned Badou Jack. He wants nothing to do with Jai Opetaia, and I don't blame him. Zurdo, on the other hand, I don't feel like his last performance was good at all. I feel like he's a little bit overrated. He's still a good fighter, a little bit overrated, though. However, all those things being said, he still beats Jake Paul, and it's not even comparable. So, interesting to see him go after Badou Jack. Obviously, it's the weak link of the cruiserweight champions, but that fight's not going to happen according to Don King. Next thing I want to get into is some fight news that we have. Bakr Murtzabayev and Erickson Lubin are in talks for an early fall bout. The bout is expected to land on a PBC event. Remember, Bakr Murtzabayev was reportedly in discussion with Josh Kelly. Now, for some reason, that fight seems to be falling apart or fizzling out, or something's going on right there. And so now, the man that a lot of people wanted, who is the mandatory now, Erickson Lubin, seems to be getting his shot. And I like that. I like Josh Kelly. And I was thoroughly impressed that he even wanted to entertain the idea and the prospects of fighting Bakr. I don't feel like that was going to be a good situation for Josh Kelly, though. I feel like that could have been a very dangerous situation. But I was going to give his props to Josh Kelly if he did take that fight. Josh Kelly needs to go out there and just fight somebody in the top 15. Stop fighting these random dudes and go out there and have a decent fight before you fight a guy like Bakram. However, Erickson Lubin, Bakram Murtzabayev is the fight to make. Bakram will win that fight. I don't doubt that at all. I think Bakram is a very, very good fighter. Somebody that's extremely underrated at 154. And boxing as a whole, let me add that. But Bakram Murtzabayev versus Erickson Lubin is the fight to make. It makes the most sense. It's the most realistic. He's the mandatory. Make that fight happen. I like that idea there. Now, we have some unfortunate news. This weekend, July 19th, has been a weekend that I have been proclaiming will be one of the best weekends, or days, I should say, in boxing that you could ever put together. Absolutely stacked. Unfortunately, there was 2 minor hits that came to Saturday's cards. Now, none of them are massive or end-all be-alls, but we lost 2 fights for this weekend. The most notable one, Austin Emma Williams went under a new opponent this weekend and is searching for one already. IBF 160 Eliminator took a hit when Atocha Eliha was pulled due to issues with an eye exam on pre-medical fights. Okay. He was going to be fighting the Bam Rodriguez, Pamela Kafu, Diego Pacheco, Trevor McCumbee fight card. He was the perfect third fight right there to get you ready to get going for those 2 main fights. That was going to be a great fight. A very high-level fight that would have got the winner into a title position. I was excited for that one. Now that fight's not going to happen. And that's the most brutal hit. That was going to be a fight that on most weekends would have been a lot more talked about. Because of everything going on July 19th, it's going to be hectic. But that fight was still going to be a darn good fight. Unfortunately, it's no longer going to happen. Hopefully, they can get a replacement for Emma to go out there and fight. If not, let's just get that fight rescheduled. Also, Jose Luis Guerrero Sanchez, his fight against Abel Ramos has now been canceled from the July 19th Manny Pacquiao Mara Barrios undercard in Las Vegas, as Ramos suffered an injury that forced the cancellation. Another brutal news, Abel Ramos is a guy that I feel like is very underrated. He made a very competitive fight against Barrios last year on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson undercard. He was a guy I was excited to go out there and see. It was going to be a solid fight. Obviously, that fight's not going to happen either. So, 2 fights coming off of this weekend stack cards are now axed. Hopefully, we'll find a replacement for Emma Williams. The other one seems like it's completely off the table, but I just want to give you guys the updates. Now, there's 3 big topics I want to get into now to wrap up today's show. The first one being this. What happens if, and you might even want to say when, Oleksandr Usyk wins on Saturday? His career achievements will include being an Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion 2 times, victor over Anthony Joshua 2 times, victor over Tyson Fury 2 times, victor over Daniel Dubois 2 times, and he would be undefeated as a professional. That resume, I just want to be quiet and let you guys just reflect on what I just listed. That resume right there would put him amongst all-time greats. That resume is incredible. You would have dominated 2 weight classes, and you would have fought the best of the best, specifically at the heavyweight division, when you were originally a cruiserweight, and you would have defeated these guys definitively multiple times. That's remarkable. On top of that, retiring undefeated is phenomenal at the heavyweight division specifically. If Oleksandr Usyk wins this weekend against Daniel Dubois, I get he might want to fight one more time. But if Usyk beats Daniel Dubois, becomes undisputed heavyweight champion, and then walks away from boxing, when you look at his resume, you're looking at a man who you could easily proclaim as a man who is going to be one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. And actually, let me drop the heavyweight. He would be one of the greatest fighters of all time. That resume is remarkable. Obviously, first ballot Hall of Fame, no doubt about that. But I'm looking, when you talk about resumes and what he has accomplished, it's hard to argue that if Oleksandr Usyk wins this weekend, then not only will his name be solidified amongst the all-time greats at heavyweights, his name would be solidified amongst the all-time greats in boxing. Now, whether that is top 15, 20, whatever the case may be, that's to be debatable. That's to be debated. But he would be amongst the all-time greats. That resume is phenomenal. Time will tell if he's able to go accomplish that this weekend, though. Conversations are already happening for Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao 2 if Manny wins this Saturday. Wow. All right. I knew that this was possible. I knew that Manny Pacquiao, if he would go out there and beat Mario Barrios, become world champion at his age, at welterweight, I knew he was going to have interest in fighting the man, the undefeated man with 50-0, Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. The problem is that we're looking at a guy that when the fight happens, we could be having a 49-year-old fight a 48-year-old in the ring for a world championship in boxing. Now, if Manny Pacquiao somehow miraculously goes out there and defeats Mario Barrios this weekend, all credit to him. We're really in a sport where we could be having a 48 and 49-year-old man fight each other in the ring for a world championship, the highest level of boxing. That's what's happening. Oh my goodness. Let me just say this. I understand the opinions are mixed as to whether or not Manny Pacquiao should be in the ring. The same should be said about if Floyd Mayweather decided to come back. These guys are well past their prime. They've already earned Hall of Fame status. They're already two of the all-time greats. No ifs, ands, and buts about that. What's interesting about this situation is that we're risking the health of these two guys. That's my biggest thing I've always said about this. But we're talking about these two guys going into the ring and fighting at their ages for a world championship. No other sport in all the world could you possibly have a 48 and a 49-year-old, most likely, fighting each other for a world championship at welterweight. Absolutely phenomenal. What in the world is this sport? This is one of the most unserious sports in the world. I love boxing, but you're telling me we could possibly have a man in Manny Pacquiao and a man in Floyd Mayweather Jr. fighting each other in a rematch, what would it be, 12 whatever years after the first fight, when both guys are almost 50 years old? There is no other sport like boxing. And let me just say this. I don't like the idea of the fight happening. If Manny Pacquiao goes out there and wins it, he can do whatever the heck he wants. Fine. But how crazy would boxing be if that is the situation we're in at that point in time? No other sport could you possibly have a situation like this unfold. But hey, it's boxing, folks. The last thing I want to get into on today's show, unless there's any more comments you guys want to talk about in the chat, but I want to get into Shakur Stevenson and Conor Benn. You know, they were on the Ariel show yesterday, and they were going back and forth, and I don't necessarily know why they were set up to be with each other anyways, but Shakur Stevenson essentially came out and said this: listen, Conor, I'll fight you. Conor Benn said early in that show that he would be willing to drop down to 147 again, which would be remarkable in and of itself, but he said, I'll drop down to 147. And Shakur said, I'll meet you there and I'll fight you. Now, is this a realistic fight? I don't know. Shakur's at 135 right now. There's stuff he can do at 135. There's also stuff at 140, like fighting Teofimo Lopez. 147 is a pretty wild jump to make. But Shakur Stevenson goes out there and says, listen, man, I'll fight you. No problem. And I'll be honest, Conor Benn, he has power, but not one KO knockout power. And therefore, because of that situation, I would favor Shakur Stevenson in that fight. Now, I don't see that fight happening anytime soon, but it will be interesting. But the biggest thing I want to say right now is hats off to Shakur Stevenson. You really, and I think he actually would take it, you'd be willing to go up to 147, jump 2 weight classes, fight Conor Benn, and probably beat him at 147. And the truth is that's why I think he's one of the pound-for-pound greats right now. He is a man that I honestly give the favorite to in winning a fight by moving up 2 weight classes and finding Conor Benn. I think he would still win. That's my thoughts. And I feel like that's what goes to show about how good Shakur Stevenson is. He's the guy that could legitimately be competitive, if not beat everybody at 147 right now. That's what he's doing. And yeah, I think he's more than capable of accomplishing that as well. So hats off to Shakur Stevenson for that. I don't feel like that's a fight that I want to see right now. The build-up process would be interesting. It would be a big fight to make. I could hypothetically see it, but I think Conor Benn's going with Chris Eubank Jr. But in a year, 18 months maybe, that fight could be on the table. And I would not be 100% against that fight happening. It would be interesting. It wouldn't make a lot of sense right now. But that money always seems to rattle a couple different bells. Always seems to make things happen. And I feel like that fight right there would produce a lot of money and would open the doors possibly for that fight to happen. So we'll see what's up unfolding there. But that's my thoughts on that situation. With that being said, though, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for tuning in today's show. I hope you guys all have a phenomenal rest of your guys' Tuesday. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Now, to give you guys a quick update, On tomorrow's show, I will be having both a boxing and a basketball show. The boxing show will be going down at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, while the basketball show will be going down at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So make sure to tune in on those two shows. I hope you guys do have a phenomenal Tuesday. I'll be back here tomorrow, like I said, with 2 shows on Wednesday. May God bless you guys all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a phenomenal rest of you guys' night. May God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. God bless you guys.